What is happening today? This is fun. Oh. Can you still hear me, Lisa?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Looks like we're on.
It says it's going live. Are we live?
Yes.
You see us? Oh yeah, there we are. I see us.
Yay.
Okay, we got on. We're here.
Technology. Yay.
Yeah, technology. Zoom is busy today, everybody. So
right. What did we do before Zoom? I don't know.
Exactly. So good afternoon, everybody. It's Bob Dzienis with the DeVoe Group, brokered by eXp Realty. I'm here in Westwood today, and I'm very excited because I've got a wonderful guest who's going to give us some insights here in Westwood. And the reason I wanted to do these sessions was really just to give folks locally the opportunity, some social media love and businesses, but also some of the local organizations that are helping the community. So I've got Lisa Bontemps here from Westwood for All Ages. Lisa, welcome. So excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here too.
I really appreciate it.
Sure.
So I definitely want to talk, obviously, about Westwood for All Ages and all the benefits that it brings to the community. But I guess maybe my first question, Lisa, is first off, how are you doing? Like just personally and your family, like how's everybody doing?
You know what? We're doing okay. I have to say, I feel extremely blessed that my husband is still employed. So he works in Manhattan, and when they had to shut down the city, his offices had closed, and he telecommutes like so many people are doing right now, and it's been good. We're doing just fine. We're on top of each other a little bit, having to share some office space here and there, but okay. And we have our college-age son here, and he's been just taking online classes and trying to finish up his finals. And I think he misses going out with his friends, like he does. The isolation after a while kind of wears on you.
Yeah, it really does.
It's what we have to do to stay safe and to keep our community safe. So, but it hasn't disrupted my life too much because I also work from home anyways.
Okay, so you normally work from home then?
I do because I have two jobs, and both of them I do right here from my home office. So
it's great to be able to work from home, but also be out however you need, right? So
yes,
awesome,
exactly,
awesome. So, so you are just let's talk a little bit about the organization that you're with, which is Westwood for All Ages. You are the program manager for this organization, and I just wanted to find out from you a little bit about the organization itself. If you could just give us some background. Is it when was it established, and how did it come about, and all of those factors?
Okay. So it's interesting that you call it an organization. A lot of people think of it as being its own separate entity, like a nonprofit. But Westwood for All Ages isn't actually an organization. It's an initiative. So it's a grant-funded initiative that came about 3 years ago through Meals on Wheels of North Jersey. So Meals on Wheels is the organization that houses Westwood for All Ages. So Jean Martin is the executive director of Meals on Wheels of North Jersey. And several years ago, she was invited to apply for a grant through the Henry and Marilyn Taub Foundation to look at how our community, Westwood, could become more age-friendly.
Okay.
So it was originally designed first as just a 6-month grant just to do some needs assessment and meet with the community and see what the issues were for our older residents.
Right.
And from that, it turned into a 3-year initiative. And each year the Taub Foundation funded us so that we could do what we need to do, hire who we need to do. That's how I'm paid as a consultant on it. So the grant was originally written a few years ago to look at what are called domains of livability, things like housing and transportation and health and well-being and social connection and even public spaces and social inclusion. All of those things that speak to the quality of life in any community. Specifically, though, in terms of how older people are included in those things and how they are included sort of in the fabric of Westwood. So Westwood's not the only town that was funded to do this.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. Like,
Yeah,
is this something any town can sign up, like a grant and go through that process, or?
Not really. This was one of the Taub Foundation does things by invitation. So they reached out to community leaders in the areas of aging that they knew were already well established, and invited them to apply. And from that, 5 towns in Bergen County all received this funding. And so we're called partners. We all work together. We share ideas. We meet regularly. Teaneck, Inglewood, Ridgewood, Garfield, and Westwood.
Okay.
5 communities that all have these age-friendly initiatives that were funded for 3 years. Each town is different, so they have different needs.
Mm-hmm.
They've taken their initiatives in some different directions, and yet there's been overlap as well, because things that affect all of us in all of these towns are things like housing and transportation, and health. But it's not a one size fits all. So each town has their own coordinators, their own program managers that run their initiatives.
Okay.
So it actually has expired, or we are expiring this month.
Okay.
And I've written a renewal for 2 more years. They've decided that 3 years was really not enough time to get traction to really make sustainable long-term differences in the community. So now they're looking at doing 2 more years and expanding the grant to help really embed many age-friendly practices in existing structures and organizations here.
Okay. So this initiative itself, let's say it did expire and you didn't reapply for this, how would it sustain itself? Is it volunteer? Like, how does that kind of all happen?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, since Westwood for All Ages has come about, there's been a greater awareness in many of our existing organizations for the need for age-friendly programming. So for instance, one that I can highlight right off the top of my head is the Forever Young program through the Recreation Department that Gary Buckeister runs. So that program has evolved over the past few years to offering more things. What started as a few fitness classes has really morphed into a more robust offering of services and educational programs and social components. And so that's something that's going to be sustainable long term, because that's a borough entity. In the library, we established in our first year a community resource center in the library. So if you go to the Westwood Library, immediately to your left, you'll see a little round table, and there's some document stands there, display stands, where we have that area of the library dedicated to providing resources for older residents.
Okay.
That's something that we established. We paid for it. There's even a large screen TV that's been mounted that we can show informational videos that benefit seniors. So that's going to be a long-term sustainable aspect of our work.
Okay. Even
if we didn't renew, those things were still in place. The Riley Center, we've partnered with them to help them promote some of their programs. So that's something that's, that's ongoing. And I mean, after COVID, who knows how anything's going to look anymore, but, things have been in place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and again, I think because we have been here for the past years, we've done a lot of educating of our senior residents and issues that impact their lives. And that has had an impact for many of them.
Okay.
And there will be volunteers. Yeah. And
I'm sure that will always be the case, right? People are like myself and others are looking for volunteer opportunities just to help the community.
Yeah.
I remember last year when it was Celebrate Westwood. I know that there was some sponsorship for, I guess it was it Westwood for All Ages? I did the dunk tank. Was that sponsoring? I remember there was some money that was raised for, I thought it was Westwood for All Ages.
Well, Westwood for All Ages, we didn't do the dunk tank, I don't think. I don't remember.
Okay. I don't remember. I'm still wet from it, so.
It was so much fun. We had a table there. We had a booth where we had some games and prizes, and we gave gave away some freebies and things. And we were a silver sponsor, so we helped promote the Celebrate Westwood event, and that was a great event for getting awareness out, because we had so many people coming up to the table. where we
Yeah.
give them things like, we put together these wonderful guides, like a resource guide that has everything you'd want to know about how to find information here in Bergen County and in Westwood specifically. So all kinds of other information that we had to give out to people. So that was a good opportunity for us to reach in. And,
Yeah. So just a question regarding the organization itself. So it's been around about 3 years. You're going to try to extend it now. You're going through the process to extend it, which is wonderful. So is the organization itself, is it all volunteer, or like yourself, like I guess you're paid through the grant, or how does that kind of work?
So it's kind of a little bit of both. Little bit of both. I mean, you do need some professionals to give it legs, to get those wheels in motion. So I'm paid as a consultant. It's very part-time. Plus I donate a lot of hours as well, volunteering for it. This is passion for me, not just a job.
Absolutely.
And then we have a part-time assistant who, her name is Roseanne Charlante. You might know her from the Celebrate Westwood. She was very involved in that. And she's a staple around town. She does the rec report, the Forever Young newsletter, works part-time for the community center. She does our newsletters. We have these wonderful newsletters that we put together every couple of months. So she's the main editor for that and for content, but she's like the guru for that. So she's sort of like the office person that kind of helps with a lot of the material things, whereas I'm the planner and the director of things.
Okay.
And that's really it in terms of the paid positions. Jean Martin, who runs Meals on Wheels, is our executive director. So we always are in touch with her and keep her involved in things. And the three of us will meet often to sort of talk about what's going on. And then I have the most lovely committee, volunteer older residents that are called Westwood for All Ages Ambassadors.
Okay.
And they're really kind of the lifeblood of this initiative because they are people who are engaged, they're informed, they've got a personal interest in our town being age friendly. Many of them have done other types of volunteer work, whether it's been serving on boards and committees in town or library volunteers with the Friends of the Library. A couple of them sit on the Senior Advisory Committee, which is a borough appointed, a mayor and council appointed committee that represents the needs of senior citizens. So they're a good liaison for that as well. And they will do a lot of the legwork. They will go and they will talk to people and they'll have their ears to the ground to hear what some of the needs are for seniors. I mean, this COVID crisis, I've been getting text messages from one or two saying, this person really needs some food. Can we help them out? And this person needs this. And when this lockdown first happened, I pulled together a list of people who've attended many of our events with their phone numbers, and I assigned them to our ambassadors to call. Say, how are you doing? What do you need? Right. Just to do outreach. So it's a little challenging right now because we don't want them out. Yeah. Age. But under normal circumstances, they've been very much involved in things that we've been doing and managing tables at the events. And
that's great. You got a great crew who's all helping out. That's fantastic.
They're fabulous. Yeah. We couldn't do it without our ambassadors.
Absolutely. So just a couple of questions. So do the programs themselves, like, I guess there's some overarching programs that Westwood for All Ages helps the community with. Can you just highlight a couple of those? And then are you having to pivot at all because of what's happening with our current state right now?
Yeah. One of the things that we've tried to do is provide education for our older residents on how they can tap into various resources to make their lives a little bit more livable. Been particularly successful that we've done each year is a transportation training on how to use public transportation. We are so lucky we're right in the heart of
You've got everything here.
Right?
Yep.
Just jump on a train and get into Manhattan.
Yep.
But for a lot of older people, it's a little intimidating, especially if you haven't been on public transportation for a long time. You're not sure how to make connections.
Especially if you try to get to Midtown, you have to change in Secaucus, right? So
yes. So what we do is we actually NJ TIP, which is out of Rutgers University, they're a transportation planning authority. They have trainers that come and they present a workshop on everything you'd want to know about having to take public transportation,
Oh yeah.
including on your cell phone.
Oh, wow.
Schedules of every manner of transportation. And I learned stuff. I didn't realize in Google Maps, I can find out when the bus is going to arrive, you know.
Really? Okay.
Like,
wow.
Everybody can learn stuff.
Yeah.
That's like session one. And then a couple days later, we actually take a field trip on the train. Everybody gets it. We buy them their ticket. We show them how to use the kiosk, you know, buy their train ticket, take them to see caucus. The trainer shows them how all the connections are made. You know, once you're there, how do you get to Manhattan? How do you get to the shore? How do you get to or wherever you want to go? We buy them some lunch while they're at the
that's so nice.
caucus station.
Yeah.
On the train. And let me tell you, the testimonials that we've gotten from the people are amazing. We had one woman say that she hadn't been able to visit her sister in Long Island in years because she just couldn't figure out how to get there. She was nervous about it. And now she goes and sees her regularly, taking public transport.
That's awesome. That really helped her, right? It just made her more comfortable and feel more confident to be able to do it, right?
Yeah, yeah. And another one said, you know, she's going to go to the shore because now she knows she can. She can get on the train and, you know, get to the shore. So it gives people freedom that they didn't have before.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. But then we've also done, like, generally every month or every other month, different educational things that hit different areas of health and wellness. We've even done we did a housing summit where we talked about all different options for aging in place. We've done ones on, you know, an audiology workshop where we've had professionals come in and talk about hearing loss and doing screenings. So it's too many to recall, but there's a large number of them. So now obviously we can't.
Yeah.
Things in person, but we did have a webinar that I hosted last week with an attorney on advanced planning directives. We had been to do a in-person one, so we just had to pivot and we did it online as a webinar and sent it out to people. Right. So we can't do these in-person things, but we did a social connection happy hour on Zoom last two Fridays ago. And it was fun. We had some entertainment. We had some helpful information. We gave them, we had Frances on there talking a little bit of
Frances. Yep.
We had Karen Foote from Reiki. She has a Reiki business and massage practice, and she guided us through a little meditation.
Okay.
So we'll probably do some more of those.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I mean, I don't know. I've been invited to all of these like Zoom happy hours, and now collab, like talking to your family like via Zoom. It's just so different. But you know, we're all pivoting, and I hope you're getting good audiences on some of these so far. I'm sure you are.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing with the Zoom is because you can record it, they can watch it for convenience. So in some ways, it's actually expanded our reach a little bit. And looking forward, you know, into the next phase with our grants, we're realizing now that because seniors are so vulnerable, we really need to do things that are going to impact their health and well-being in our intervention. We need to also help enhance their access and understanding of technology. Right. Because I don't know about you, but I know, I've got a 93-year-old aunt in Arizona who FaceTimes and does Marco Polo and Facebook and Instagram and all that, but she's the exception.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty unusual.
Very unusual.
I'm my mother's IT help desk, so I get the phone calls. Right? Yeah. She wants to throw the printer out the window, you know.
Well, what we actually want to do is we want to hire high school students to be one-on-one tutors to help seniors to figure out how to use their cell phones to get the most out of it.
That's awesome.
Or their iPads or their laptops. So, you know, because they need to be connected.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
There was a couple of other things when I was looking on the website that Westwood for All Ages focuses on. I know there's volunteer opportunities, and maybe that's pivoted some now because of the circumstances, but there was something I saw online about volunteer matching. You know, is that still available to seniors, or will it become available if someone needs help with lawn work or that kind of stuff? That's what it looked like it was focusing on. Is that an initiative as well? And is that something they'll be available to them?
Yeah, we started that in the fall of last year, and we had students come forward and say they wanted to help out. And it started as we wanted to do snow shoveling, but then we realized leaf raking is a big need too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had like junior honor society students coming forward, and they just went through a few different neighborhoods and did leaf raking at so many homes. It was awesome. And a couple of society students, there's students that need service hours. So it's a great way for them to get some service hours and to help the seniors. And I have a list of some seniors who said they would like to have snow shoveling done. We hardly got any.
I think we had 4 inches the whole year. Yeah.
I mean, I was all set. I had volunteers ready to go.
Yeah.
And it never happened. So, but next year, next winter, it probably will need to. So yeah, so what I'm trying to kind of put into place, and I've got the start of it, but we need more numbers, is people who need the help and younger people who are willing to do the help, that we can, you can mesh. Yeah. And listen, people are doing it anyways for their neighbors, just like people are shopping right now. And sort of that's one of the messages I really want to get out today is to check on your neighbors. If you have somebody who's older, who lives, nearby, check in on them. And if you're at the grocery store, pick up groceries for them as well. Some of them are having a difficult time getting online grocery service.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually, right after this interview, I'm going to grocery shop for my mother because she's been trying to get on those lists for various grocery stores, and it's just impossible right now. So
I had one older resident call me about it. She said she couldn't get it for 3 weeks. I said to her, you know what? Order now for your 3 weeks, because in 3 weeks you're still going to need it. So, I mean, her neighbor was able to get her stuff, but I said, take the 3 weeks and plan out. And
she was saying though, like it's hard to they won't even go past a week, even if it's booked. So I'm like, she needs coffee, so I have to get her coffee.
Don't blame her.
Gotta get her coffee. So so if we could focus a little bit now with the current situation and how vulnerable everybody is, and it's such a crazy time right now for everybody. What are the things that Westwood for All Ages is focusing on now that maybe you could talk about?
Sure. Well, I think right now our biggest need is just making sure that everybody has food, that they have basic supplies, that they are connected and know what's going on. That part is a little bit trickier because unless they have technology, they may not know, for instance, if they're not on social media, what things are happening real locally in Westwood, unless they're, reading their paper. But what we did initially when things shut down was we partnered with the Westwood House. They put out a call for food to help with the older residents that live in the Westwood House and the Hillsdale House. So I was personally engaged in helping to collect food, sanitize it, distribute it, organize it, all of that. Well, now Val Hartman, who runs the Westwood House, has got a very well-oiled machine in place with her own volunteers. And I've sort of pivoted, and we've paired up with a local couple, Rowie and Dave Mendez, who started their own nonprofit called Connects 4 NPO.
Okay.
And they are operating a food rescue, and they get deliveries. They get food that would have been thrown out from Trader Joe's. Much of it totally good, consumable, fresh.
It's fine. Yeah.
Breads, bakery items, even meats and cheeses, eggs, stuff that Trader Joe's can't sell, so they have to, find people to take it to. So they're rescuing this food and distributing it in a lot of different places. They were doing it right out of their house. And Erin Collins, who's a councilwoman, made me aware of that. And I went over and I checked it out, and I'm like, this is nuts. You're getting food out from your backyard, which is all, but very limited in what you can do. So I spoke with the pastor at Parkside Community Church and said, Westwood for All Ages and Parkside Community Church wants to help partner with this. And we moved the operation from their house to Parkside Community Church. Also because we're centrally located, so it makes it easier for people to get there.
Right.
We have a very large refrigerator that Parkside has been using for years for their Circle of Friends monthly dinners that they've been providing to the community that they can't do now because of the social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
So all the factors were sort of there. So Westwood for All Ages has sort of adopted this and is working with Connects for NPO and Parkside Community Church to help streamline it and get volunteers. I see you volunteered to help us.
Yeah, I volunteered. I'll be there Saturday.
Yep. So, and this is one of those things where we really need volunteers who are not older people because, again, they have to stay home. So we need people who are a little bit younger and healthier,
Mm-hmm.
and only 3 people per shift because we don't want too many people there at the same time. And so
Mm-hmm.
sort of helping with all that coordination aspect of it and getting the word out, the community outreach, because that's something that Rowie and Dave were having a tough time with. It was just getting the word out. So we have the means
Mm-hmm.
to do that. And we've also financially helped support some of the food distributions at the Westwood House. So that's where our biggest pivot is. And we are continuing to send out electronic e-newsletter blasts. One is going to be sent out tomorrow that will give people information about resources and things that they need,
Okay.
including this food
Okay.
distribution. The other thing where we're really trying to focus some energies is to identify who are the seniors in need in our town, who may not be on our radar. Like we know through Meals on Wheels, they've got a list of people that they service.
There's a succinct list.
That are on, right. But we also know that there are many older residents that aren't on any lists, that don't necessarily have family here. They may or may not even be that connected with their neighbors, and they're living alone and they're struggling. And those are the people we want to be able to identify and get them some food.
How do you go about finding those people? Is it just kind of word of mouth? Is it like people
Yeah.
who know people, that kind of stuff? Yeah. So
it
it's a
really
network
is.
of
That's
people.
why this is really helpful, what we're doing today, because
Mm-hmm.
it's out to a larger group.
Yeah.
If you know of people, we will put together a care package for them of this rescued produce, and we have some pantry staples, and if they need toilet paper, we'll get that.
Mm-hmm.
And people can donate this stuff too. And we'll deliver it. So I do have people who've contacted me like yourself who want to be helpful volunteers. And I sent one yesterday, here, go deliver this to the house for this woman. And
right.
People are more than happy to do that.
Absolutely.
So getting that word out, and if they can send us that information, they can email us, they can even call, then we can help them with getting that stuff out to people.
And what I'm going to do, Lisa, is I'll make sure, and we can follow up after this, just to make sure if there's certain things you want me to capture, I can put those into the comments. But
yes.
Anyone can go to, is it westwoodforallages.org? Is that the website? Okay. So I'll make sure to put that in the comments as well, because there's so many resources. Phone numbers are there available for people, and emails as well that they can reach out, right?
And I would encourage them to get on our e-newsletter, our email list. So if you go to that website, you'll get a little pop-up box that asks you to subscribe to our, we don't send out tons of emails, so you're not going to be on a junk email list.
Okay.
It'll be stuff that will be useful. We're not selling stuff, we're providing helpful information. So, subscribe to that e-newsletter list, and that way when we do have events that are going on, or we have information that's going to be helpful for the community, you'll be able to get that, and you can forward it to other people in your network.
Okay, great. Did you want to talk a little bit about Parkside Community Church at all? I know that you're collaborating on the food drive. Is there any, or the food rescue? Anything else that you wanted to talk about that partnership?
Yeah, I mean, that's so I wear a lot of hats.
I'm feeling that, which is great. Yeah, I like your energy. That's fantastic.
And that's how, I mean, that's how I fell into Westwood for All Ages, because I wore my Rotary hat, and that's how I met Jean Martin. And Jean, it's like
it all snowballed, right? It turned into
right. So the other hat I wear is I'm very involved at Parkside Community Church. I've been an elder there for a number of years. I'm a worship leader there. I'm running their online services now with Zoom. So I'm also the facilitator for that. Our pastor, Rodney Haveman, is doing his sermons online on Zoom. like so many other churches are doing right now. But you know, that one of the things that Parkside has been known for a number of years now is these monthly dinners called Circle of Friends, where we've been serving people in need a hot meal once a month, which obviously we can't do that now.
Right.
So this is a pivot for the church. So when I said to the pastor, what do you think about doing this with Connects for NPO and doing this food rescue? He was all over it, and so was the rest of the church. And so many of the volunteers are people who also go to our church. So this is a great partnership because it takes the faith community, it takes a nonprofit community. We've also involved people from the schools, the superintendent, I'm sorry, from the Board of Education, Sue Swikowski, she's been helping us. The principal at Berkeley School has been getting the word out. Several council people are aware of it. So it's like a perfect blend of every aspect of public and private sector all working together with this mission.
For a common goal, right?
Serving. And let me tell you, it's an eye-opener. There's so many people in our town that live under that radar a lot of times that you're not even aware of who are in need. We assume because Westwood is sort of higher on the socioeconomic scale that we don't have people in need.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, we've got people even before COVID who need that has been helping to fill a need for them. So what a gratifying thing for all of us to be able to do. And for Westwood, Parkside too, it's a perfect complement to their mission because Parkside is also, I think, one of the only churches, if not the only church in Westwood, that's officially an open and affirming and welcoming church. That means so many things. You know, for a lot of people, it means we are open and affirming to the LGBTQ community, but it also means for immigrants of any status. It means for all ages. It means for people of any kind of mental or physical abilities. When we say it's a place where you belong, we really mean it's inclusive in every way. There's nobody who doesn't belong or isn't welcomed in every aspect of the church life. Like there's no second-class citizenship in you know, so
everybody's included, all inclusive.
Yeah, exactly. So this mission is just perfect because it really does tap into that everybody belongs, everybody can be served, and everybody can serve.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, good to know. Just a couple more questions, Lisa, if I could just ask you. So, you know, you said you wear many hats, right? So, so this is full time. It feels like for you, but it's not full time. What else do you do? Do you do something else?
I do.
Work wise.
I do. I have a regular job that I've had for the last 8 years, which is becoming more and more part time, just because I can't find the time to put energies into it. But I've actually been a health coach for the last 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
And, that came out of my background. I have a master's degree in health communication, so I've always been interested in health and wellness. And then I had a training and development professional for many years. And when I became a
So was I.
I just needed something else, you know, to fill the time. And I had a little bit of my own little health transformation about 8 years ago when I lost some weight and was just, you know, feeling really good about myself and about life in general, and found that I really wanted to help other people kind of pay it forward. So I decided to be a health coach, and I do it virtually. So Zoom and a cell phone.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, have you had to pivot that business at all?
No. I mean, the funny thing is my business is perfectly suited for quarantine because I have been coaching people all over the country for the last 8 years. So I might be coaching somebody later today who lives in Iowa, and tomorrow I could be speaking with one of my clients in California, and next week it could be.
That's awesome. It just gives you that flexibility, and you could go wherever you need to go, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It's a perfect way for me to help other people, and that's my own personal mission, is just what I do. If it doesn't have that component,
I can sense, I get that from you. That's definitely a passion for you, to help people. It's wonderful. So
Yeah.
So Lisa, I wanted just to maybe close up if we could and just ask if there's anything else that you want anyone to keep in mind in regards to, any residents who are watching. What are some of those final things that we should keep in mind, or just in general that, what would be the kind of closing comments that you might have?
So I would say, this is, given that the time that we're living in, this is a time of really being able to reflect on our priorities and what really matters. And this has shone a spotlight on the most vulnerable people in our society. And so I would just take a moment and really, first of all, if you're not in that population of being vulnerable, be grateful.
Yeah.
Be glad for what you have. I'm lucky, I'm very privileged that I don't have a lot of those needs that other people have right now. Having said that, that puts a bigger burden on me to help, to be a part of the solution. And so for our older residents, 31%, these are just some statistics I want to throw up to
Sure, absolutely.
31% of Westwood residents who are 65 and over are living alone right now. A third. Think about that. And if you know any of those residents and you have the ability to help them during this time, help them.
Yeah.
Let us know and we can help them. The reason why we even have something like an age-friendly initiative, why be age-friendly, is because we are an aging population. It's predicted that by 2035, there will be more people over the age of 65 than under 18. Our population dynamics are shifting. And, the life expectancy is also growing. If you're 10 years old now, your life expectancy is 104.
Wow. Can you imagine? Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So think about, how is your home? Can you age comfortably in place in your home?
Right. Yeah.
Are you,
it's funny that you're saying this, and I don't think my mother would mind. I think she's watching, but, we have this conversation all the time because there is that, I could do it 5 years ago. I could do it 10 years ago, and it's not the same. Stairs are not the same. Going shopping is not the same. Having to take trash out to a dumpster is not the same. Like, it's different. And it's hard to get your brain around that, I think.
Yeah, it most definitely is. And I'm not saying that there's easy solutions to things either. I mean, if I could wave a magic wand, we would have a way that everybody who needed to could turn their garage into an apartment for their mother or their mother-in-law that would be fully accessible, or everything that we have in place, with our housing stock was sufficient to meet the needs of an older person.
Right.
That it would be a more affordable place to live for people as we age. But those are the hard fixes, and that's where advocacy is important.
Yeah.
So I would also encourage people to go to aarp.org, because AARP has a plethora of helpful resources and information. Sometimes I will share that stuff on our Facebook page for helping people to help in place. So I'm really proud to say that we're a member of the AARP Livable Network, Livable Communities Network, which we're one of only, I think, maybe 11 communities in New Jersey that have gotten that designation.
Okay.
Our commitment to having things in place to be age friendly.
Okay. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Lisa, it was such a pleasure. I really appreciate your time. And I'm glad that I could help and try and get some of the message out to our residents and just to folks in general is think about, we're all in this together and we all have to help each other out as much as we possibly can. So
sure, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really glad that we got to speak. And
it was my pleasure, Bob. It was fun. And if anybody needs me for anything, you can look us up on our Facebook page, Westwood for All Ages, and be sure to like it and share it and get in touch with us.
Perfect. And I'll put everything in the comments with your website, or if there's other information you want me to include, I'll make sure that those are in the comments as well.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Take
Lisa, thank you again. I really appreciate it. You have a
You're
great
very
afternoon. Stay
welcome.
healthy, stay safe.
You as well.
Thank you.